Let's continue by queering up politics. 74% of LGBTQ Americans support Kamala Harris, according to the HRC. A new poll has been done by the HRC that shows that 74% of all LGBT Americans support Kamala Harris and the governor from Minnesota.
Walks.
Yes, thank you. And what's interesting about this new report from the HRC is perhaps we would have thought the number would be much, much higher than 74%, but it is not. And in fact, it's basically the same number of LGBT support in the 2020 election of supporting Joe Biden over Donald Trump. So even with all of the enthusiasm that we're watching, it really hasn't changed. What do you think about this new report from the HRC?
I have to be completely, first of all, thank you so much, HRC, for spotlighting something like this. We need to see the numbers, right? But second of all, the reality is, Al, that those 26% are waiting to hear something else from Kamala, right? Just like in everyday life, women, we have to work harder. And Kamala has to show all her cards to everybody. So those 26%, I've heard LGBTQ plus people say, I need more, I need to hear more. If she was a man, would you still need to hear more? I'm not sure.
That's interesting.
But from my seat, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Do you think from the observation about women's issues in this campaign, in this historic campaign of first Black woman, first Southeast Asian woman, etc., do you think the percentage of LGBT support for Kamala Harris is going to rise in the coming weeks, or do you think
so.
we're at?
I sure hope so. I still have hope. I mean, if anything we've learned from Kamala is the invigoration of our community, right? The hope of our community, the villages coming out with all these golf carts in support of Walz and Harris. So, I mean, I have hope for that. I hope that will rise a little bit, but we have cynical LGBTQ plus people. We have a lot of white cisgendered men that still need something else to be proven for them to feel that a woman can be leader of the U.S.
Yeah, speaking of making that note about a more cisgendered white viewpoint, let's talk about the log cabin Republicans here a moment.
Okay.
The log cabin Republicans continue to report that they are seeing record embracement of the conservative cause inside our LGBTQ community. And there seems to be strength to this observation of what they're talking about. The president of the Log Cabin Republicans has said that they have had in 2024 the best campaign year in fundraising efforts in raising money ever in the history of the Log Cabin Republicans. A big event was held in Nashville recently. We reported on it at Queer News Tonight. A big event was held at Mar-a-Lago, where the former First Lady, participated. But in general, the Log Cabin Republicans are saying, wait, just because we're gay, don't forget that there's a conservative movement in our community. And this HRC poll seems to prove that that's true. Yeah. Whether it's 18, 20, 25%, whatever that might be, it seems that it's
very high. It's still very high, though, Al. Yeah. I mean, come on, 26%. Do your research. Know what you're doing. Vote. Something about voting also that I was thinking about, Al, that that in Switzerland, they still have a canton, I want to say it's Schaffhausen or something like that, that if you don't vote, you get fined.
You pay.
You have to pay, all right?
They do that in Australia.
But how awesome is that when we're constantly screaming on Queer News Tonight, please vote, please vote, please vote. And we're in a country right now that if you don't return your ballot, even if you return it empty, right, you have to return it or get a fine.
No, that's very interesting. I'm sitting here thinking about that observation. I did not know that. By the way, a canton in Switzerland is like a state, that they do that here in Switzerland. And it's interesting to me because I was thinking about what we would do if we made voting mandatory in Miami-Dade County. I'm not exactly sure that.
And the 4 people have come to vote today. No. Yeah, everybody would leave.
Well, the HRC's report indicates that currently 74% of our community are supporting Kamala Harris, and 26% have not made a decision, or they're supporting Donald Trump. We'll keep watching and continue to report on the politics in our community.